Back on the Chad Hasty Show, News Talk 95.1 FM, 790 AM KFYO. See, even when we're not down in Austin, we bring at least some of the Austin, we don't bring all the Austin politics to you because that would just be disastrous for this city. But we bring some of the politicians here on the program, and we've got Ag Commissioner Sid Miller here on the Chad Hasty Show. Welcome back to the show. Welcome back to Lubbock.
Howdy, Chad. Good to be back in West Texas.
Absolutely. Glad to have you back. You're in town this week or today for Ag Appreciation Week.
Yep, in and out today, going up to the Ag Appreciation Luncheon, talking to the FFA chapter, making several stops, and I think my flight goes back 8 o'clock tonight.
All right.
So make a full day of it.
Yeah, make a full day of it here in Lubbock and West Texas. Let me ask you about when it comes to we discussed a little bit of this last week on the program, and that is a Texas Senate bill that would take some a little bit of power away from your office, and it kind of delves into skimmers, correct? Something that is a big developing issue.
That's one side effect of it. It doesn't really take any power away from me. What it does is takes protection away from the Texas consumers. We are the Consumer Protection Agency, and there's a bill that's already been kicked out of the Senate that would strip the TDA from overseeing the fuel pumps regulation. So they're going to put it over at the Texas Department of Licensing and Registration with massage parlors, nail technicians, cosmetologists, elevators, and they don't have any inspectors over there, so there's no one going to be watching your back. So without access to the pumps, the skimmer protection program that I've created, we can't get to the pumps. We can't do that program anymore either. So it'll all go away, and the consumers will be on their own, unfortunately.
When it comes to skimmers, and I know your office has worked hard to try to educate people on what they need to be looking out for, and this is a technology and an area that's consistently changing, right?
That's true.
What do people need to be on the lookout for?
Well, first of all, there's two places you'll find them, most common: fuel pumps and ATM machines. Fuel pumps, here's what you need to look for, and ATM's the same thing. There's an external and an internal. External is just an adhesive that slides right over the credit card reader. It's just like, and it looks like it, but you can just grab hold of it when you pull up the pump, pull on it, and it'll come off in your hand. Yeah. Those are pretty. The other ones, you can't see them. They're on the inside of the pump. They pull up within 2 minutes. They've got that thing mounted and the pump locked, cabinet locked back up, and they're gone. So what I tell everybody, number one, do not use the end pumps. Stay in the middle where visible to the clerk, okay? Because they like to get away, out where they can hide to put these things in. Two, most of them, not all of them, but most of them are Bluetooth equipped. So when the crooks come back, they pull up. They don't even have to get out of their vehicle. They just go to settings and click Bluetooth, and it downloads all the credit cards it just stole. So what I tell people, there's actually an app now that you can put on your phone, a skimmer app. But I like to use my phone. I go to settings, click on Bluetooth, and it'll show your car, your Bose speaker, your Bluetooth, etc. But if there's something on there that's a long string of letters and numbers that you don't recognize, that's probably a skimmer in that pump.
Go to a different pump. Go to a different station.
Don't put your card in that one.
Yeah. Well, and so what will your office be doing? Who knows what this bill will do, moving forward. But what will your office be doing before this, before the changes take place?
Well, we're working real hard on the skimmers. We protect the consumer at the pump. Bad gas. If you get bad gas, we'll send somebody out. We used to get a fuel sample. Now the legislature is preventing us from taking a fuel sample to see if the fuel's bad. If you got ripped off at the pump, I'd have somebody out within 2 hours. If say, hey, Commissioner, my car only holds 20 gallons, but it put in 27. I'd have somebody out, and we'd shut that pump down. We can't do that anymore now. The legislature stopped us from doing that. So,
why do you think they're doing these changes to your department?
Well, it really doesn't make a lot of sense. But here's why. So we have really cracked down on these convenience stores, these food and fuel places. They don't like us. We put out news alerts when we find a skimmer. We shut them down. When I got there, it was taking over 10 years to check all the fuel pumps. I'm getting it done every 12 months now. My inspectors are driving 750,000 miles less. We're getting 40 to 60% more inspections done now. We're cracking down on these bad operators and letting the public know who they are and where they are by public announcements. And the fuel industry, they really don't like the bad publicity that we've caused them. So they've hired some big-time lobbyists, and they've gone in and convinced the legislature that, hey, we don't really have a problem. We didn't have that many violations last year. Duh. It's because we're out there and we got the eagle eye on you, so no one can get away with it anymore. We've drastically cut down the number of violations simply because we're there and they know we're watching.
Yeah. Visiting with Ag Commissioner Sid Miller in town for Ag Appreciation Week. What are some other events that you're going to be doing throughout the week for Ag Appreciation?
Well, we've got a lot of stuff going on. Ag Appreciation luncheon today on campus. Then I'm going to talk to the FFA chapter, visit with a couple more folks, fly back tonight. Actually, we'll be this weekend at Earth Day, the biggest Earth Day celebration in the United States in Dallas. I'll be there speaking. Environment is a farmer's. That's our issue. We've let that be stole from us. We are good stewards of the land, so I'm up there speaking on the other side, basically, instead of letting all the greenies and everybody that bash agriculture, hit us.
Right.
I'm speaking back, and I'm for the American farmer, and we need to tell our story. We got to get our story. So I'll be up there, and then I'm going to the Mounted Warrior Foundation down at Fort Hood. We have a big fundraiser there. We're raising money for a museum dedicated to the 1st Cavalry, the Mounted Warriors, and because there's not one anywhere east of the Mississippi. So busy. Plus, we've got a lot of legislative stuff going on at the Capitol.
Very good. Let's talk in the future because I think one of the last times we had you here, we talked about President Trump and the Trump administration dealing with ag, and we haven't gotten kind of an update from you on how the federal side of things are looking. So we'd like to talk to you about that next time.
Anytime, Chad. Anytime, my friend.
All right. That's Ag Commissioner Sid Miller here on the Chad Hasty Show.